Thanks, Laura. Excited to be here. Good afternoon, everybody, or wherever it is that you are in the world. I see some from Cairo. We appreciate you joining us. And I'm excited today to kick off what is a new series for Florida Sterling, where we're going to highlight in 7 minute uh, recordings our Sterling core values. And today we're going to talk about visionary leadership. And it's important to remember that our Sterling criteria is built on these values. And that's intended to be embedded in the systematic processes that we develop and intended to yield results. So this series will be focused not on our criteria, but on those values that are behind the criteria. And what do they mean for each of us? And I'd like everybody that as we discuss visionary leadership today to keep two things in mind for me and really question yourself. One, objectively challenge yourself if you're setting a vision as a leader. And two, if you are setting that vision, is everyone clear on what the vision is and how to achieve it? So let's start with what it takes to be a visionary leader. To be a visionary leader, you must be confident. You have to be confident in several things. You have to know what you value. You have to know what inspires you as a leader, what motivates you and your team, and what encourages you to want to make a bold visionary statement. And then one of my favorite sayings is, don't lick from the lollipop of mediocrity. If you aren't setting lofty goals, then why not? You must trust yourself and never be afraid of the loftiness of your vision. Visionary leaders have no time to apologize for expecting greatness. And why does visionary leadership matter? Why do we need to be bold? It's for several reasons. One, it creates the right culture. And culture is always there in an organization, but is your culture intentional? Is it designed to meet the vision that you're setting as a leader? It also, visionary leadership helps us create focus on what is important. Prioritizing in a competing environment can be difficult. That vision helps us find our priorities. Our bold vision also helps us define our strategies. It sets the place to where we're going, and our strategies help us get there. Think of a boat going across the ocean. That bold vision sets that destination. Our strategies are the trajectory we're going to take to arrive at that destination. And then a bold vision ensures accountability because it all sets us on the same path to achieve the same great thing. And it helps provide a supportive environment when priorities are clear. So what does bold look like? And as Laura talked about, I'm the hospital president at Wellstar Paulding Hospital, and this is our bold statement. And it may be different for everyone, but at Paulding, we commit to being the best hospital in the country by being the top 10% of all facilities in all that we do, including patient safety, customer engagement, and workforce engagement by the end of 2023. Now, Paulding is a 112-bed community hospital, but we openly state that we will be the best in the country, and we clearly explain how we will measure that and in what time frame. And the bold vision does take purpose. And I would argue that not one of our clinicians at Paulding went to school to improve patient experience from 83.4 to 88.7. I believe they went to make a difference. At Paulding, we openly talk about our why. And our why is to save lives. And as this graph shows, the healthcare industry is not always great at that. In fact, we are often the third leading cause of death, according to this study, which was done pre-COVID, because of errors. And so for us, our purpose is to save lives. And I personally share this statistic at new employee orientation and ask our team that's coming in if they're ready to not be mediocre. And if they do want to be mediocre, I ask that they please resign and go find somewhere else to work because it's not going to work out for them at Paulding. We then live these out by setting expectations around the framework we're going to use. For us, that's the Florida Sterling criteria and the National Malcolm Baldrige criteria. And once we set that path and that framework, we all personally commit through a leadership letter that you can see in the middle that every one of our leaders signs, and I sign along with them. We frame that and put it in their office, and it's a reminder of what it means to lead at Paulding every single day. We also then lead in key areas that are important. For me, that's the the hospital safety huddle every day that I personally lead because we want to be the best in the country with safety and quality. I also personally write a safety minute every week that we read. It's all about high reliability. Our leaders are also expected to round, to speak transparently with staff, to be open, and to ask our staff, how can we make things safer today? And the question is, does this work? I believe, yes, it absolutely does. Our bold vision, because we can objectively say that we're one of the best hospitals in the country, including being a 2020 Baldrige recipient, one of 2 hospitals named in 2020 as a National Baldrige recipient, receiving the Oglethorpe Award in 2019 as the first hospital in Georgia, being named by Newsweek as one of the best hospitals in the world, being named a Lantern recipient as the first adult ER in Georgia, and being in the top 10% or top 100 in the country of companies in employee engagement, just to name a few. And as we think about visionary leadership, I would argue that being visionary takes guts. It takes grand thinking, but most importantly, it takes work. Every day focusing on the steps we need to take in order to meet that bold vision. As a visionary leader, we must carry the flag of that vision. We absolutely can't lead from being behind a desk.